Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be talking about skin. I'm going to be telling you my top tips to great skin, and I'm also going to be showing you my weekly facial skincare routine. So in my previous videos, I'll link them down below. I do have my morning skincare routine and I do have a video on my evening skincare routine. So I'll link them down below. But today I wanted to talk a little bit more about skin, how to look after it, my top tips, and also my weekly in-depth facial routine. So let's start with my 5 top tips. So the first tip that I can recommend, and this is probably the most important one, is to remove your makeup every single night. So I know sometimes, like, if you're on a night out and you get in and it's late and you just want to go straight to bed, but please try and take your makeup off. You will feel 1,000 times better in the morning if you've managed to get your makeup off. Okay, tip number 2, which is almost as important, is to make sure that you're moisturising your skin morning and night. No matter what your skin type is, whether you're oily, dry, sensitive, combination, you have to moisturise. And even for the most oiliest of skins, you still want to moisturise, but you just want to use like the lightest moisturiser. If you're really dry, obviously you can use something a lot richer, but definitely be moisturising on a morning and on a night time. During those periods during the day and when you're sleeping, your skin dehydrates, because during the day you've got all of the environments, you've got the pollution, you've got air conditioning, just kind of day-to-day activities tend to dehydrate your skin. And also at night time you're sleeping for like 8 hours, you're not drinking, and your skin will dehydrate as well. So you need to moisturise both ends of the day. Okay, tip number 3, and this is a little bit controversial. I have like a lot of problems getting this into my clients' heads, but oil is good for the skin. So people who have oily skin, I tend to find like I don't have oily skin, so it's hard for me to understand. Well, it's hard for me to comprehend, but oily people hate having oily skin because it melts your makeup. It's hard to make things last on your skin gets greasy, you tend to break out a little bit more. But oil is actually really good at keeping the skin young. So the more oil that you have in the skin, the more your skin is plumped and the more it's hydrated, and the younger your skin will look. When your skin gets more dry, what tends to happen is your skin is lacking water, so all your fine lines tend to appear because they come out when the skin's dry, and you tend to age a little bit quicker, so all those fine lines become a little bit more prominent, and your skin starts to look a little bit older, a little bit younger. So the more oil that you can have in your skin, the better. So for you oily people, as much as it's annoying, you're actually really lucky because you're not going to age anywhere near as quick as someone with a dry skin. So people with dry skin, use oils in your cleanser, use an oil treatment, use an oily based moisturizer just to really get those oils into the skin. If you have an oily skin, obviously you don't want to be adding extra oils to the skin, but try not to kind of strip the skin of the oils. If you're really cleansing your skin and you're doing masks and you're using toners, that will help to control the oil production. So you'll still have the oil in your skin, but it'll just help to slow it down from coming out in the skin and ruining your makeup and giving you breakouts. And then my last tip to beautiful skin is to make sure that you're doing a full skin treatment once a week. So making sure that you're doing a full cleanse, you're doing an exfoliation, you're doing a mask specific to your skin type, and then you're using like a serum and a moisturizer afterwards. Do that once a week, and what that will do is it'll help to combat any damage that's being done to your skin during the week. So if you work in an office or you work in a department store in a closed environment, you're most likely to be under some kind of air conditioning or some kind of heating, and they damage the skin. So air conditioning is the worst thing for your skin. It's disgusting. Basically, air conditioning sucks moisture out of the air and turns it into some kind of heat or some kind of cool, and it sucks the moisture out of your skin. So if you work in air conditioning kind of 5 days a week, by the end of those 5 days your skin's going to be so dehydrated. And it happens to me, like I've talked about it in my previous videos. It gets to a Sunday, which is my last day at work, and my skin's like a prune. I just want to come home and just put everything I can on my skin, and that's a good thing to do. But now I'm going to show you basically my in-depth weekly facial routine. Like I said, I'm going to link down below in the comment box my morning skincare routine and my evening skincare routine, so you can see what I do morning and night, and then this video will show you my facial routine. So this is what I do once a week to really treat my skin. So I really hope you guys enjoy this. If you do, please give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Okay, first things first is we need to remove our eye makeup. So as you can see, I'm not wearing any eye makeup, so I'm just using a really gentle eye makeup remover. But if you're wearing a heavy eye makeup, you want to use an oil-based eye makeup remover. And you want to use a separate product for your eyes than you do for your face, just because the eyes are a little bit more delicate. And if you tend to use facial products on the eyes, you can end up clogging the eye area and making bags and dark circles. Next step is your first cleanse. So I always start by cleansing my face with an oil-based cleanser. Oil basically emulsifies makeup, so you'll place the oil onto the makeup and it dissolves it. So oil-based cleansers are hands down the best way to remove makeup from your skin. So always start with an oil-based cleanser, apply it to the skin dry, work it into the skin, then go back and wet your fingertips, work it in a little bit further until it starts to emulsify, and then rinse it off. For this first part, so the cleansing and the exfoliating process, you can be doing this in the shower. Obviously I'm not because I'm filming, but that's where I tend to cleanse and exfoliate my skin. Next step is to do a second cleanse. So once you've oil cleansed your skin, sometimes there can be a little bit of residue. So you want to be doing a second cleanse to get all that residue off the skin. I am using a cream cleanser because I have a dehydrated dry skin. If you've got an oily to combination skin, you're probably better using a foam cleanser because that will help to really remove debris from the pores and help to remove any excess oil. But if you're dry dehydrated, well, you want to use something a little bit more creamy and a little bit more lotiony, just to give a little bit of hydration to the skin. So again, work that into the damp skin with your fingertips, working it specifically into those areas where you tend to get a little bit more clogged, and then again, rinse it off. Step 3 is to exfoliate, and this is a super vital part of the facial routine. So I am using the Kiehl's Micro-Dermabrasion scrub, which is a very, very fine exfoliator. It's almost like a sand, and basically it gets right into the very nooks and crannies of the face and removes all that dirt and dead skin from the skin. So you choose an exfoliator that works for you. If you have an oily combination skin, you can definitely handle something stronger like this. If you're more sensitive, you obviously want to use something a little bit more gentle. There's different exfoliators on the market, so have a little bit of research, but I find the ones with the micro beads are the most effective at really airbrushing and kind of scrubbing the skin and getting all that dead skin cells off. Now, what an exfoliator does, like I said, it takes all the dead skin cells off your skin. So it takes all that top layer off and it leaves you with fresh, beautiful, new skin. So when you apply any further products to the skin, they can soak right in and work a lot more effectively. So on damp skin, you just want to circle this all over the skin, so all around the nose, in the chin, in between the eyebrows, all those areas that you get dry patches and clogginess. Circle it in, keep working all over all parts of the face, and then again rinse it off, and make sure you rinse this off really, really thoroughly. Okay, now we're going to tone the skin, and what a toner does is it basically balances the pH levels in the skin. So it stops your skin from sitting too acidic, which is when you tend to break out, and too alkaline. So I'm using the Clarins Chamomile toner, which is for a normal to dry skin, so it's alcohol free, very, very gentle. If you're more oily combination, you can use something a little bit more astringent, and that'll just help to kind of really soak up those excess oils in the skin. Next, you want to be blotting off any excess toner with a tissue. And now we're going to go and do an oil treatment for the skin. So like I said at the beginning, oil is good for all skin types, so definitely pick one that's made for you. Now I'm using the Clarins Blue Orchid oil, which is made for a dehydrated skin. They have 3 types. They have an oil for a dry sensitive skin, the one that I'm using which is for a kind of a dehydrated skin, and they also have an oil which is made for an oily skin. So surprisingly, it actually helps to balance the oil production in the skin. So if you're oily combination, have a little look at that oil. So it's called the Clarins Lotus Oil, and do some research and see what you think. Okay, so the massage steps is first of all to gently massage, working your way from the eyebrows up the forehead. So you're gently pulling on the forehead and just massaging up the way, just helping to smooth out any lines and wrinkles in the forehead, and just to gently smooth and soften the forehead.
Then we're going to go down and circle the temples a couple of times, and then we're going to start to circle the eye area. So we're doing a full circle starting on the temple, round on the under eye and over onto the brow bone, and then we're going to repeat that a couple of times, and then we're going to start to do little mini circles, just working your way all the way around the eye area, just to really work this oil into the skin and just help to relieve any tension in the eyes. Next, we're going to start to massage the cheeks the way we did with the forehead, so just always working up the way just to help combat gravity, and we're just gently massaging up the way, just working the oils into the skin and helping to relieve any stress and tension in the cheeks. Next, we're going to massage that into the nasolabial folds, and they tend to appear when you're kind of more dry, dehydrated. So we're going to really massage the oils into that crease just to help plump it out. Then we're going to massage the sinuses just to help relieve any tension and stress in the sinus area. And next we're going to do really light patting motions all over the face. So just using your fingertips, we're just going to gently pat all over the face, like little tiny patting motions, just to help really work out any tension in the face. Then we're just going to go back over the face and gently work those oils into the skin, so over the forehead again, cheeks, and then finishing with a few circles just over the temple area. Now we're going to remove the excess oils off the skin using that toner again, so just putting it on a cotton pad and just sweeping over, just to remove any excess oil that's left on the surface of the skin. And then again blotting it with a clean tissue. And now we're going to apply a mask. So I'm using the Glam Glow Super Mud Mask, which is a charcoal based mask, so really good for cleaning out any impurities on the skin. So I tend to apply this through the center of the face, so the center of the chin, across the nose and on the inner parts of the cheeks, and then in between the brows and on the bottom half of the forehead, just where I tend to have open pores and breakout, and this just really helps to clean out my pores and keep any blemishes at bay. So I am applying this with a clean foundation brush. It's an old foundation brush I no longer use for foundation. I use this purely for applying masks. Then for the rest of the face, I'm going to use my Clarins HydraQuench cream mask, which is a really beautiful cream mask, great for hydration. So I'm just painting that all over the face and just filling in any areas that we haven't placed the Glam Glow mask. This is really good for, again, plumping the skin and really filling it with hydration. It's full of hyaluronic acid, which, like I've said in previous videos, is the super ingredient for hydrating the skin. Now we're going to leave these masks on for 20 minutes, so set yourself a timer. And once the 20 minutes is over, we're going to start to remove the mask. So you want to use a damp face cloth, and you basically want to hold it over the Glam Glow mask. So just hold it in place for a few seconds, and that'll just start to kind of melt the mask. Once it's started to melt, you can rub it off with the cloth. If you go straight in and start to rub, you can really kind of damage the skin. You just can create a lot of redness. So just melt it first and then gently kind of buff off the excess. Then obviously when it comes to the HydraQuench mask, it's pretty much soaked in, but again, any excess, just clean it off with the cloth. Now back in one last time with that toner, just to remove any excess products from the skin, and again to balance the pH levels of the skin. Now we just want to moisturize the skin, so first of all I'm going to apply a serum, and I'm using the Estee Lauder Advanced Night Repair. Now I talked about this in my evening skincare routine. I love this serum, I've been using it for years, and it's just really good for repairing any damage that's been done to the skin, and it's really good for hydrating the skin. So it's to be used at night time. You can use it morning and night if you want to, but it's quite rich, so I only use it at night time. And because we've really buffed off the dead skin with that exfoliator, this serum just soaks straight into the skin and really treats it. Then we're going to apply an eye cream. So I'm using the Elle Bache Special Eye Cream, which is a rich lanolin based eye cream. So I'm just going to melt it between my fingertips, then apply it all around the eye area just to really hydrate the eye area. This is an important step not to miss. The eye area can become dehydrated very easily, and that's when you start to get really crepey fine lines under the eyes. So make sure you're really hydrating the eye area morning and night. And last step is to moisturize, and I'm using my Aesop Camellia Nut Hydrating Facial Cream. So again, I talked about this in my nighttime skincare routine. I've been using this moisturizer for almost a year now, and I am obsessed with it. So I like to take it from the jar with a cotton tip, just so I'm not putting my fingers into the jar. Swipe it onto the face and then massage it in. And we're done. So again, thank you so much for watching, guys. I really hope you enjoyed that. Any questions or comments, leave them down below and I'll get back to you. And I hope to see you on the next video. Have a wonderful day and I'll see you soon. Bye.